Hey guys, my name is Craig Rayner and this is 5 tips that I use to make my photos stand out from everyone else's. So let's start. Okay, tip number 1 is to shoot through things or to add things into the foreground of the image. This will add a lot more depth of field to the photo and create more of a story on where you are and what the image is about. So if you're in the forest, shoot through a bush. The bush will then tell the story on whereabouts you are, what sort of season it is, and it will add a lot more depth of field and add a lot more contrast and colour to that image as well. Certainly if you're taking the photo in autumn and you get those real nice autumny colours. Tip number 2 for me is adequate lighting, to ensure that the subject we're photographing is adequately lit. So we need to make sure, whether it be indoors or outdoors, that the photos we take have enough and sufficient amount of light to show off what we're trying to take. So for landscapes, we're looking at that golden hour, sunrise or sunset. So there's that golden hour just as it's coming up, and not only will it give us efficient and amount of light to make sure that the landscape is what we want to be showing off, but also give us a lot of different colours in that sky area as well. So a lot of pinks, a lot of oranges, a lot of reds. So it gives a different flavour to our scene. So that will stand out to other people when they take their photos. If we're doing photos indoors, what we want to try and do is, if we haven't got a flash gun or we don't want to use a flash and the lights aren't sufficient enough for us, what we can do is we can move to a window source, pull the blinds or pull the curtains open, place your subject or your area there. So tip number 3 from me is to try different positions and different angles taking the photo. So everyone seems to go to that one spot or to look at that one image and takes the same photo, and everyone's photos become the same. So my advice to you is to stop and think about where you're going to take that photo. Try a different angle, try a different height, so either go higher or go lower, or even that, look down at the image. So this photo here is a photo of me walking in the Forest of Dean in Gloucester, and I looked down and saw a reflection of my dad, and I thought it was perfect. It was very symbolic of our holiday away in the log cabin. It was wet, it was cold, and it was dark, which was all these factors that showed where we were and what we were doing. So it helped tell the story of this image. So tip number 3 is change position and look everywhere for a different angle of that photo. Tip number 4 is to try playing with your shutter speed. Slow it down. Add movement, which then will add texture to your image. So this one here is a photograph of Aberystwyth in Wales, and I got very low, so I changed my angle, changed my position, changed my height, and I also added a very long shutter speed, not only to capture as much light as we wanted to, because this was at about 7 o'clock on the evening in Feb, but I also wanted to capture the movement of the water entering the sea. So by slowing down the shutter speed, it gave me a different dynamic and a different feel of my photograph. Tip number 5 for me is one of the most important tips, and it is slow down in taking your photos. We are so easy to pick this up and click away as quickly as possible and try and grab that photo, and everyone is doing the same. I spent a week with an old film camera which was manual for every aspect of that camera, and it made me really slow down, look at the composition and look at my settings. So my advice and my final tip of the video is slow down with taking photos. Get your composition as best as you can before pressing that shutter speed. Please remember to like and subscribe to my channel, hit that little bell for new and upcoming videos, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.